Hello? Good? Can you hear me now? Okay. Man, YouTube needs to get their audio stuff sorted out. Okay. Alright. Thank you. Well, worked this time, I guess. I don't know what the deal was. Did the same thing 2 times in a row. Okay. So as I was trying to say, just figured I'd jump on here and see if people wanted to chat, ask me questions, talk about different things. Thank you, Josephine. I'm pretty proud of the song I made. It There are a few things I would change, mainly the date, because I did get the date wrong, which I hate that I do stuff. I hate giving false information. I hate doing that so much. Because I forgot about a video on Ellie's channel with that came out before the one on I'm a Survivor about Pearl. I had forgotten about that video, so. But everything else about that song, minus like one or two lyrics that may work some other way or other wording lineup. But yeah, so yeah, I'm pretty proud of how that turned out. Yeah. And also that it was on the live this morning sometime. I was not on the live this morning. I was busy doing vacation things. Unfortunately, I was far out in the country without Wi-Fi, so I didn't even know there was a live video. How long did it take? I think from the time of me first starting to write it to it being finished, all video, music video, and anything took, I think, a little over 2 weeks. I think that took about 2 weeks to do, a little over. Yeah, it took a minute to do, but I wasn't sitting down doing it every second of every day. I would do a little bit at a time because I had other things I needed to get done before as well. Thank you. It was fun to do, but it is incredibly tedious sometimes because you have to find the right clip, and some clips you can spend 20 minutes syncing it up to the song and find out something doesn't work, so you have to scrap that clip, find another clip online somewhere, and it just it grinded along at some points. So yeah, it was fun to do. It was just a pain and a frustration at times to do. Yeah, yeah, it was fun to do, but annoying in places. Thanks. Oh, and fun fact about that video that I've replied in a couple comments is, you know how there's two pictures at the end that's say with text in it. The first picture at the end is one I took at the ranch. So yeah, I took that one. So yeah. Yep. I sent that video to Lester the morning of the 4th. Yeah, right after the morning live on the 4th. So that would have been Thursday morning. Or wait, was it Thursday or Wednesday that I sent that out? It would have been. I think it was Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. Oh, that's okay, Karen. I don't remember you, but I don't that day I saw so many different people, and it was just a blur of a day. So, please don't have any offense to say I don't remember you exactly. Um, I'm that yeah I saw so many different people that day. Um, Thanks, Josephine. I right now I only work part time. I'm not in school or anything like that. I just work part time. I work nights loading semi trailers. Yeah, that's what I do. I sling packages at FedEx. Okay. If I lived an hour from the ranch, I would ask Lester if he would hire me as a hand. That's something I would do. Hi. It's a really nice day here. I don't know what temperature it is, but it's probably like low 80s with like almost no humidity and a little bit of a breeze every now and then. Yeah, it's a gorgeous day today. Birds are talkative. I don't know if you can hear them all. You know, so yeah, I would struggle to stay away from the place if I lived that close, but I don't. Yeah, I'm just at a whoops. I'm just at a little picnic table area outside my resort here on vacation. Figured I'd enjoy the time outside. I would be on our room balcony, but there's no like table to set my phone down, and I didn't want to have to stand there holding the phone the entire time. So you'll have to deal with any background noise that happens because there's people working and people arriving and like walking around talking. So just sounds of public. So hi, Rhonda. I've been to Nevada. My aunt and uncle used to live up in Reno. They don't anymore, but they used to. Yeah. I'm in Tennessee for the week. Enjoying time here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really pretty day. Yeah. I didn't have any real planned things to talk about, so you guys are kind of dictating conversation right now, which I'm fine with. So. Hello, everyone. Fly and bugs buzzing around. Huh. Plans for my future? I mean, right now, nothing concrete. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing for schooling. I don't know anything like that. Um, yeah, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Um, so just figuring stuff out at this point. Yeah. Um, my plans for content right now are kind of all over the place because my monetization doesn't work currently. Because YouTube apparently doesn't recognize my identity and it's wanting like IRS forms and the IRS won't take my information for anything. So it's just kind of jumping through so many different hoops just to get monetization. It's really a pain right now. It's bugging me. So I haven't had monetization for the last few months. Um, so I don't want a desk job. I would die doing a desk job. I cannot sit still at all. If you can see just me doing a live, I'm always like looking around, just like focusing on different things because I can't like sit still and just focus for an hour looking at a at a screen unless I'm like actively thinking about something. But yeah, what was that one last question? Oh, I didn't mean to hide the chat. I wanted a live chat. There we go. The rest of the question. Oh, um, I would like to work with animals. I feel like I would do well with that. I keep knocking my Coke over. I've got it sitting on the ground because it won't sit straight on these tables. See? Yeah, it won't sit straight on these tables. But yeah, I don't. I'd love to work with animals. I work better with animals than I do with people. Because I think animals are just easier than people are. They don't have an agenda. They don't. Yeah, people will have an agenda. Animals will just tell you how it is, whether it's good, bad. Um, they don't lie. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I didn't get into like a customer service job, because I would not have the patience to for that, dealing with so many people for that type of job. I wish I lived closer to facilities with animals. My hometown is it's it's a university town, so there's not really a whole lot of rural stuff. And what rural stuff is around is plant fields, corn and soy primarily. Not a lot of animal farms. And what farms are around are usually small family run farms that can just be run by the family and they don't need to hire on a bunch of help. That or they just have volunteer work that they have available. And some of that is seasonal, some of that is hard to get in slots, if that makes sense. So it's not many opportunities near me to work with animals. Thanks, Sky. Yeah, yeah. Animals are awesome. Yeah, I have a snake. I've done a lot with different animals. Yeah, animals don't judge. I don't think we'll go to Dollywood here this trip. I've I can't remember. I think I've been there once. I've been to Dollywood once, but amusement parks were never really my thing. I mean, they're fun. They're fun for a while, and they just kind of get old pretty quick. Yeah, yeah. I'd love to work on a farm, get hired onto a farm or a wildlife park, and get some physical experience in doing that. But where I currently live, it's not as available to get those positions. It doesn't have as many opportunities for stuff like that, unfortunately. I think the closest like zoo, a, like a accredited zoo, would be probably the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago, and that's a couple hours north of me. So yeah, not a lot of good opportunities for stuff I would like to get into. And again, what farms and stuff that are around where I live are mainly family run stuff, so they're small enough to where they can just have a small number of people running it and they don't need to hire on a bunch of help. Especially help like me who is inexperienced and doesn't have the physical experience to really do much. I would need to be taught a lot of things that other candidates wouldn't necessarily need that additional coaching. I have looked into volunteer work at a couple of horse stables near where I live, but nothing concrete as of yet. I've just done some research. It's funny, everywhere we go, if we would always stop at zoos and we'd always stop at wildlife parks, and I would be myself and not, I would, um, as like an educator or a keeper, whoever's talking, I would answer their questions and say knowledge and stuff. And they'd be like, "Do you live here? Do you live near here?" And we were like, "No, we're on vacation. We live such and such hours away." It happened over and over everywhere we went. If we went to a zoo, an aquarium, a farm, just it would always happen. I would get those opportunities, but nowhere I lived, nowhere that I lived. So it was kind of funny, but also kind of disappointing. I missed Lester and Jamie live today because I was off at a place called Cades Cove here in Tennessee. It's a like a paved, like it's part of the Smoky Mountain National Park, and you get to drive through and see things and see the scenic views and see the wildlife if they're around. But yeah, we saw quite a bit today. Saw a couple deer, saw 10 or so turkeys, and saw about 7 bears. So yeah, got to see a whole bunch of stuff today. I put up a short of one of the moments. I don't know if anybody here saw the short I made just not too long ago, that I put up not too long ago, about Mama Bear and her cubs. 2 mama bears and their cubs. Because, yeah. Because when we were there watching the one mama and her cubs, we were on the road, and the mom and cubs, the mom was down in the creek rooting around for stuff, flipping over rocks and branches and stuff, looking for food, and the cubs were off to the side, um, uh, at the base of a tree or in the tree, just sort of hanging out while mom went and found food. And at one point, we were there for probably 20, 25 minutes watching the bears. And all of a sudden, mom down in the creek just picked her head up and looked in the opposite direction. And her ears were forward, her head was forward. She picked up on a scent or a sound or something. And she walked over to her cubs, got all her cubs together, and they just headed out into the grassy field that was next to us. That was up ahead of the trail. So we followed them up there, and they came out into the field and just went across the field, and eventually they left. They kept going and disappeared into the tall grass. We lost sight of them, and just a couple minutes later, out of the trees just a little bit further away, came another mama bear with 2 cubs, with two more cubs. So that first mama wanted no part of the mom and her 2 new cubs that had just come out of the scene. Oh, hey, Lester. Yeah. Sorry I wasn't a part of the live this morning. I was busy doing things. Thanks for having my song on the intro and outro. I was far out in the wilderness with no internet connection whatsoever. No bars, no nothing. Hi, everybody. Anybody coming on saying hi, hello. Yep. I don't envy your Texas summer weather, Lester. I envy your winter weather, though. I hate Illinois weather. Illinois weather is bipolar. You can have all 4 seasons in one day in Illinois, especially in spring and fall. We don't really have spring and fall weather. It's just day-to-day summer and winter weather when it's fall or spring. Yep. Yeah, it's probably like upper 70s, low 80s right now. I didn't look at the temperature today, but it's awesome right now. Got a bit of a breeze coming through the trees, and it's real nice right now. Here's what I'm looking at over this little picnic deck area. Yeah. My nose is itchy. I've got a bug bite on the end of my nose, and it's driving me nuts. From like start to finish, from like writing the lyrics and creating the song, because I made the song first. And then I added the video clips over the top of it, later on. So I made the song first, and from the time making and writing the song to the full finished product took about 2 weeks, little over 2 weeks. altogether. I think the video of just the video itself took um, probably about uh, probably about a week or so, and I wasn't like working on it hardcore the entire time because that would just drive me nuts having to deal with the darn editing app every second of every day for hours on end. No, thank you. I enjoyed doing it, but it was a real pain sometimes if the video clip I chose didn't sync up with the song right, and I spent 20, 30, 40 minutes doing a few different clips that didn't mesh right, so I had to scrap them and try again. So that part was not fun. I don't know if I'll do any more songs. I really wouldn't want to step on Megan's toes because that's kind of her thing. I don't want to. I was kind of nervous to do it because I didn't know what people would think about it, and I didn't really want to step on Megan's toes and get into her domain of what she does for the channel, because what she does for the channel and what I do for the channel mainly is two different things, and we help in different ways. We contribute in different ways, and I didn't want to sort of step on her toes with that. So, I don't know if I'll do it again or not. I don't think I'll do it very often if I do, both because I don't want to overtake what, well, I won't overtake what Megan, but I don't want to sort of infringe on what she does for the channel. But I also it's a good bit of work and an annoying work sometimes. So, oh, thanks. I don't know if you can read it because it's backwards for me at least, but yeah, this is a autism shirt. In a world where you can be anything, be kind. That's what it says. Yeah, it's an autism shirt. I'm autistic for those who don't know. Yeah. 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 It's been a fun day for me. Thank you, Bert R4U. Thank you, Bert. Thank you for all the compliments. Um, I'm just me. I'm not. I don't view myself as anything special. That's really sweet, Laura. Yeah. I have autism, Asperger's syndrome specifically. I also have ADHD and sensory processing disorder. Basically, sensory processing disorder means a lot of senses are heightened for me. Taste, touch, sound, lights. It's just some of those are heightened for me more than other people. So really high pitched sounds are deafening to me. I am a very picky eater for taste and whatnot. So yeah, that's just some of the things I deal with and just have to live with, and it's always been that way. Yeah. Yeah. Saw a comment. Thanks, Irene. I'm proud of the final product of the song. There are a few things I would change um, about it, a few word choices that I think could be done differently. Not that they're bad, it's just that I looked back on like, oh, I could have done that. Like how part of the song says, um, "Spirit like fire and a proud heavy head." I kind of wish it said "proud steady head" instead, because uh, I think it kind of makes Pearl sound a little older than she is, like a heavy head, like she's like later in life, if that makes sense. That can kind of come across like that. So, um, Pearl's not old. She's not old, and she's not feeble either. She's rock solid. I will point out, like, I did a little bit of mixed misdirection with the song because Pearl didn't win all those fights that she was in that I showed. She didn't win all of them. She didn't back down from any of them, but she didn't win all of them. She won the one against Dolly. Um, she won that one really well, but the other ones, I can't remember the outcome to all of them, but she didn't win every single one. But I know she lost the fight to Moses because, well, Moses is an Angus bull and she's a Longhorn, and Angus being a beefier breed, there was no way she was pushing Moses, even if, um, even with her horns, he's heavy and more beefy than what she is. So, and if you see when she gets up on him, he holds the front of her weight with his head without really like buckling under. So he's got a solid muscled neck too. That was my first AI song that I've ever done. I need to look at the dates of Danny and Ruby. One, I think Ruby was born in July sometime, and Danny was born in August. I want to say I could be wrong because I know they're like a month apart in their age. I need to look at their exact dates. I have it put down what month they were born in. I don't think I have their dates written down, their birth dates written down, but I have which month they were born in my list of like my Longhorn cheat sheet. What was I gonna say? I was on a roll of thoughts and then I got sidetracked, which is par for the course with me. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. So when I was making my song, I ran it through the system a couple times, and AI systems hate Jamie's name. They hate saying Jamie's name right. I had to spell Jamie's name differently. In the song I made, I had to spell her name differently at 2 points. The Lester and Jamie lines in the lyrics of the song, the lines are spelled differently at each point of the song. Like one is spelled the right way and one has an E at the end because AI hates saying Jamie's name. Um, it pronounced it like Jamie, Jammy, pronounced it with a hard G at one point. Like AI systems hate Jamie's name for whatever reason. I don't know why. That was frustrating to have to deal with a couple times. I had to re-enter it a few times for it to say Jamie's name right both times, because it would say it right once and then have it be incorrect the second time. So I had to do that a few times to get it to say it right both times in the song. And have to spell her name incorrectly the second time it's mentioned in the song just for it to say it right. So, yeah, that was a little frustrating when I was putting the lyrics together. And I will admit that I got Pearl's exact birth date wrong by a couple days, just because I forgot about one video that LE did before the first video of Pearl on the I'm a Survivor channel. So I forgot about that. So she was likely either born on the 2nd or the 3rd of June rather than the 5th, but the 5th is when she was introduced to all of us watching the I'm a Survivor at the time. So that's technically her I'm a Survivor YouTube birthday, I guess. But I don't think it matters a ton what the birth date in the song has. Pearl won't know the difference, but everything else about the song I am proud of, and proud of how it turned out in the end. Yeah, I enjoy how it turned out. I've got a bug bite on the end of my nose that's driving me nuts. Thanks, Kim. Thank you all for all the compliments. I know I won't read off every single one, but thank you. Who said, no, yeah, Chuck does have a thick neck too. I think Chuck would have had a thicker neck as a bull because he was a bit more muscular before he got castrated. Yeah, I saw this live this morning. I wasn't there for it because I was busy doing vacation stuff and missed it, unfortunately. But yeah, I saw it after the fact. Thank you. Saw it about an hour 2 hours ago. I think is when I watched it when I finally got home, or not home, but back to the condo that we're staying at here. See if there's any other things I wanted to say or respond to. I'm gonna move. Hang on. You motherfucker. Oh shoot! I left something over on the table. Left something on the table and there's a big ass wasp. Okay. Let's see if I can record from the other tables. Please don't come over here. Please do not come over here. Allow me to get reset up here. So, something to know about me is I am deathly scared of wasps and bees for some reason. Like how Lester's afraid of snakes and frogs and mice. I hate wasps and bees. I'll hold a snake, I'll hold a crocodile, I will stand right up next to Lester's Longhorns. I will run to the hills if I see a bee or a wasp. No thank you. Nope. You guys this way. There was a big wasp over there by there. Okay, I was just letting you know.
Yes, thank you.
What happened, Sky, this morning? About like a rude lady? I'm sorry, I missed what you said because I was trying to avoid. Yeah, the only time I've ever been able to tolerate being around bees was when I was on the back of a horse and I was at a horse barn in Wisconsin, sat on the back of a horse, and there were just the giant like wood bees everywhere, the carpenter bees, and I just had to stand there or sit there stiff as a board, just like don't move, don't move. I was just stiff as a board sitting on top of that horse because I knew if I freaked out, like I normally do if there's a wasp, that horse was gonna buck me off and I was not gonna end well. Yeah. What happened with a rude person? I noticed someone mentioned someone was rude on the live this morning. Oh, bye, Susan. Goodbye. Have a good day. Yeah, we travel a good bit in the summer. We always have, especially because my grandparents are both now retired, but my grandma was a college professor, so she was off in the summer, so we could go do stuff if my grandpa wasn't working anyway. So yeah, we've traveled quite a bit in the course of my life. Gone to different places. I've never been out of the U.S. though. Oh, I hate rude people in the comment section. I hate rude folks. I was talking to Miss Molly about that when we had lunch on how rude people are on the channel. We don't like rude folks, and we're very protective of Lester and each other on those in those lives. Like I've said it before and I say it again. Negativity doesn't belong on Lester and Jamie's channels or the Morrow pages. It just doesn't belong there. Like we can disagree. That's fine. That's completely fine. Like I'm sure there's stuff that I disagree with Jamie and Lester. That's not a problem with their opinion. Everybody has opinions. Everyone has biases. Everyone has things they disagree on. But we're still friends and online family. Like, we are an online community in the chat. We support each other when we're down. We protect each other from the assholes. Like, we protect each other from everything. But negativity doesn't belong on this page. If you're gonna be negative, you can just go on and fuck off. That's what you can go do. Yeah, I saw about Daisy. I don't want to talk about that because it's just gonna make me want to kick someone in the teeth. Yeah, I don't want to get into Daisy right now. I want to stay in a good mood. Yeah. What? Kim, I don't understand what you're saying. All capitals, just good move. What? I don't understand what you're saying. My nose is really itchy. This is not camera-worthy behavior, just me scratching my nose for the entire live. My nose. Oh, good mood. Okay, it says good moo. It's confused me. Mm-hmm. There was one, I think the meanest comment I've ever seen about Lester was one on my channel. I think it was on the very first video I did about all the bulls breeding information and all that while I was at the ranch. That video that I made. One of the comments, I think it was that Canadian Donna person, if you guys know who I'm talking about. That was her. She made a whole paragraph or a paragraph and a half comment of blaming Lester entirely and just completely hating on Lester and saying he was the cause of Duke of Dumfries' death and Ruby's stillborn calf. Or not stillborn, but miscarriage. And all the other bad stuff, like Charlene's in bad birth and Duke of Dumfries passing. She just went on and on and on and on and on. I wish I would have screenshotted her comment. I removed it. I removed it from my page. I wish I would have screenshotted it because I wish I still had it so I could see just how horrible people can be. Yeah. I certainly agree, Kim, when it comes to hateful comments. And no one should use my channel. I've seen it a few times. No one should use my channel. If I'm talking about Lester and his whatever he's doing, my channel is not a scapegoat to hate on Lester. No, sir, no, ma'am, absolutely not. No. Do not use my channel as a scapegoat to hate on Lester or Jamie or any of them, or anybody. You can say whatever you want to about me on my channel. You can say whatever you want to about me. I don't care. Don't use my channel, my videos, my posts to hate on others. No. No, sir, no, ma'am. Nope. Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah, I agree, Harry. I agree heavily. a lot of people will hide behind a username. And yes, I've had a good vacation. Sorry, I've kind of gotten off on a downer, but yeah, I'm having a good day. Yeah, and I hope it's an easier birthing season this year. Whenever Leicester's cows have their calves. Um, Whenever they have their calves later on in probably September, October, around that time, I would assume, because Jolly arrived around November 26th and was with all, and the bulls were all out together until early February or late January. I can't remember, but either way, they were together for a couple months at least. So, okay, um, they're together all together for a couple months, and I think it's also a good thing that all the cows that should be giving birth later this fall, I believe, all are, um, they've all had a calf each. I think they've all had calves. I don't think there's any first-time heifers due in the fall. Because Jenny Lane would be one of the youngest, and she had Brucey, so I don't think Danny and Charlene should have issue unless something other outside force happens. I've actually seen one of Jolly's babies. Right around when Lester first got him, we were messaging about Jolly's color and about what his baby should look like, and talking about what homozygous and heterozygous black coloration is, and I asked if any of his previous babies were black, or if all of his previous babies were black, then that would show if he would pass on the black gene. Now, I don't think this was when we all thought Jolly was a black and white bull, which I don't think he is. But I asked if all of his previous calves had been black, and Lester sent me a picture of his latest calf at the time, which was this little brown and white calf. So, yeah, I've seen one of his babies. I can't wait to see his babies with Lester's girls, though. My nose is killing me. I think a mosquito or a fly bit me in the nose. You have longhorns, Trisha? Awesome. I'd love to raise cattle, or just raise animals in general, because the genetics fascinate me. Yeah, yeah. Nice. How much does the battery have to have? Oh, I'm fine. Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah. Tex has Brindle in his family tree. I think his. Let me think for a second. On both of his family trees, his mom's mom, so his maternal grandma, was a red and white cow with a little bit of brindling on her, and then there's another cow even further back in his father's genetic line that was a really dark black brindle and white cow. I think it's his great grandmother on his father's side that had the dark black brindle, and also Tex's sister is dark brindle as well. One of Tex's half sisters. Yeah, I'm allergic to a lot of seasonal stuff, so I'm always itching and scratching and sniffling at stuff. So hope you're not put off by me itching my nose, because it's not very professional looking. Me just sitting here and scratching my nose until I look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Ugh, jeez. How did I find Lester's channel? That was a long time ago. Um, um, I found Lester's channel in late 2019. So, I believe so. Mid to late 2019. Can't remember what my first video was. I think it was either Run Maggie Run, Tex and Billy Fighting, or Huey's Birth. Huey's Birth, Santiana's firstborn calf. Yeah, I'm gonna cut off the tip of my nose. No, I'm not doing that. I might just do that if I keep scratching. It might be gone before the day's end if I keep scratching like this. What about Jezebel? I missed something. We're talking about Jezebel now? Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember what the first exact video was that I first watched. I can't remember if it was the Dodo and Run Maggie Run. Yeah. My nose is really itchy because I've got a bug bite on the tip of my nose. It's been bothering me for the last couple days. And I can't leave it alone either. I was seeing if my arms were red from leaning against these tables. Because I'm sure there's something I'm allergic to on these turntables. Hello, Karen. Yeah, ticks too, I bet. Ticks were really bad last year. What do you mean, Nancy? What do you mean with Megan? Do this really help with itching? I've never heard that before. I've never heard that before. Okay, yeah. I'm not with Molly. We only met once for lunch on the 4th of June. So I can talk about Jezebel's genetics, or possible genetics, because I don't know her lineage, where she came from, anything like that. So purely speculative. So based on what we know, Jezebel. So let me explain something first. So with cattle, or just with longhorns, the two main genetic colors that longhorns have are red and black. So they can either have red or black genes in them, and then there are modifiers that you can add to genes and different things like that. But there's also, like, say, a red cow and a black cow. They have a baby. One parent gives their red gene, one parent gives their black gene. That can kind of come together and sort of make what Tex is, Parker Brown, to some variation depending on the pigmentation, like how Parker Brown cow, because technically Clementine, I believe, is also Parker Brown, given the black nose, but very light color. Whereas Tex, who's also a Parker Brown, who had a black sire, who might have more black pigmentation genetics in his genetic makeup, so he's darker. Like, he started to be, like, Tex, when he was a calf, was just as red as Lord Livingston is now. So, just for perspective, Lord Livingston is the same color Tex was at that age. So, he darkened up a lot as he aged, which... Birds are being very loud. But yeah, anyway... Yeah, but a black cow, because black is a dominant trait, I believe more dominant than red. So if a cow has one black gene, but also a red gene that doesn't really mix with the black gene, they can hold that in their genetics, like it's a recessive trait, like how two people with brown eyes can have a blue-eyed baby, or a brown hair, and two brown-haired parents can have a blonde kid, kind of like that. But because I've seen black cows who have red calves, and Parker Brown calves and black calves, they can, just depending on what they pass on to their offspring at that given point, Um, but I think judging by Jezebel's history with her calves, all three of her, all four, or three, it's three. She's had three. All three of her calves have been black. So Trinity, Serenity, and King Georgie. I don't know who I thought her fourth calf was for a second, but all of them have been black. Now that could just be luck of the draw because black is dominant. So some cows will have, or bulls will have a 75% black producing rate. So you could just have the luck of the draw so far has been black calves. Or she is homozygous black, meaning she has two black color genetics in her. That means she can only pass on the black color gene to her calves. And white on Longhorns is a pattern, not a color. So even the white Longhorns aren't they don't have a white gene besides the pattern to them. Like how Pearl and Charlene have brown ears and brown on their feet. I think Pearl is a very similar genetic color to Calamity Jane and Calamity Jane and Jenny Lane underneath all the white, if that makes sense. Underneath that white color pattern that you can get. Because you can have white cows that have black ears, solid black feet. Because when Charlene and Pearl were calves, they were born with brown on their feet and brown on their ears that just darkened as they aged. Much like how Tex darkened with age, with his coloring. So, same principle. But I saw a few questions pop up. Let me see. How did I learn so much about Longhorns and their colors? Being nosy and having access to Google and having an interest in cattle and genetics and animals and a lot of free time in high school and middle school. Just researching everything I could have about animals. Right now I think I have Lester's entire herd memorized. I have over half of the herd genetics and registration names of the Doss Farms genetic herd. I have their entire bloodline memorized, searched up and access to their genetics. I follow 2 or 3 different pages on Facebook that run Longhorns and partially remember some of their genetic makeup and their bloodlines and all that. But also I've got just idle research on other Longhorn websites and ranches, so. Yeah. Okay, so let me cover that, Cynthia. So you're talking about Sleepy Horn being blue roan. So genetically, Sleepy Horn is black, but he has a roan gene modifier. So basically what that is like with horses, roaning is like what Sleepy Horn has is a black cow or a red cow, but they have a genetic marker or modifier in their genes somewhere that in their coat it produces white hairs in with the black or the red or whatever base color the cow is, and it just makes them kind of look like this ashen color or this with black they can look more blue, or with red they can have like this like different color variation. But also Jolene on Lester's channel has some roaning on her as well, where with her white coat she has red hairs, and that sort of makes her look more tinted red. Whereas with cows like Gracie, Pearl, Charlene, they just look straight white, and Marilyn as well. But with Jolene, she looks tinted red in places in certain parts of her. So yeah, that's how roaning works. And yeah, Sleepy Horn's dad was also a blue roan bull, and Sleepy Horn's dad was also a homozygous black bull named Saddlehorn. Sleepy Horn's mom was a daughter of a bull named Tempter, who was named Lucia, from Dickinson Cattle Company. Yeah. Oh, and I just remembered that both Chad's old cow, Nellie, and her daughter Honey are also like red roan, like that kind of color. They're tinted. They're not like just straight white. They're tinted with red as well. If you'll notice the difference between like Ruby and Honey on Chad's channel. My nose. I think Honey and Allie's mom or dad is a bull named Gold Digger. He's a golden longhorn bull from that Lone Rock Longhorns had. That they don't have anymore because they moved them along. Yeah. Oh, I haven't read much on the screwworm thing. I've seen it mentioned in a couple of my Google updates, like screwworm case here. Oh. Nancy, that is something I will not say until either closer or after Serenity has had her baby. I'm not going to disclose that information quite yet. For a couple different reasons. Also, just to avoid being wrong, avoid jumping the gun, and also it's kind of fun keeping people in suspense. I won't lie and say that's not a little bit fun. I saw a few more questions that I didn't cover. What else? There's only one person who knows who Serenity's baby daddy is likely is. I will say that Serenity's dad, her dad, is Waylon. Serenity's dad is Waylon. Jezebel's her mom, as you know. Saw a few more questions that I didn't get to. Favorite Longhorn, it changes from day to day depending on who's doing what. I will say I tend to prefer just the ones who are more subdued and more quiet, who hang in the background. Like I've have a soft spot for the ones who just don't really have a big personality and just are just sort of there and hang out and are sweet. Serenity, Jenny Lane. So, I like those. There's only one person who knows who I'm thinking the dad is to Serenity's baby, and that's Miss Molly. She won't tell you either. Because we talked about it while I was at lunch with her the other day. We talked for over 2 hours, me and her, and my folks. I'm not as well versed in the medicine side of stuff and stuff like that, so I'm not the right person to talk to about that kind of thing. And I'm not going to begin to speculate, so I don't be giving wrongful information out to folks. Yes, I'm still in Tennessee. We don't head back home until this upcoming Tuesday. Nose. Hi, Adam. Let me see. I saw who was asking who Liberty Bell's mom and dad are. So Liberty Bell is the daughter of Tex and Trinity. Yep. And we don't know who Trinity's dad is, because when Jezebel arrived, she was already bred, and the old owners weren't very forthcoming with information, and they changed that. What information they were willing to give changed several times. So I'm just going to say we don't know exactly who Trinity's dad is, because it can't be Santoro, it can't be Tex, can't be Waylon, because none of the timelines match up with any of that. Black Diamond, that is one of my bigger regrets about not, when I went to the ranch, I spent most of my time with the cows and talking with people. I wasn't over with the horses, so I did not get to get up close and personal with the horses. Lester, while I was out driving around the pasture in the side by side, taking video and just hanging out with the cows, Lester was also taking a group of 5, 6, 7 people over to the horse stables while the horses were all in their stalls to sort of introduce and do all that with them, with the horses. But I was not a part of that because I was focused on the cows at the time. Yeah. Let's see. I don't want to hide the chat. I want to pull the chat back up. Yeah. This is fun. I enjoy talking about knowledge and answering questions, both about myself, about animals, anything really. As long as we're having a good time and good conversation, I'm more than happy to keep going. As long as you guys are willing to sit here and with me and have a chat. Enjoy the nice weather that we have here in Tennessee right now. I did not stand next to Roman. If I do go back down to the JL, that's something I want to do, is take a picture next to Roman, because I am 5'7", 5'7", so Lester is 6'2". I think he is 6'2". So just a perspective of how Lester's taller than I am. So that's just perspective if you want to have perspective with that. My favorite part of vacation? Are you talking about this vacation or just vacation in general? You think Jolly's chubby? Have you looked at Tex? Tex has a complete and utter dad bod. A dad bod who's been to the gym, but a dad bod nonetheless. Have you seen Tex? Which Longhorn gave birth to Caroline? So that would be Charlene. Charlene, yeah, that would be Charlene. Yeah, Charlene gave birth to Caroline. How long do Longhorns usually live? Longhorns, it depends on the cow, it depends on their bloodlines, it depends on their lifestyle, different things like that. I will say that bulls tend to live shorter lives than what cows do, just because of the expense that their line of work has on their bodies. Because bulls are usually, depending on the breed and depending on the lifestyle they lead, is breeding cows, pursuing cows, producing calves, fighting other bulls, depending on what they're doing. So bulls have a bit more of a shorter lifespan than what cows do on average. Tex is 9. Tex turned 9 on January 20th. Because he was born January 20th of 2017. At Schumacher Ranch in Era, Texas. Sky, I hope not. I don't think she will, unless Charlene has something wrong with her. I think the main reason she didn't accept Caroline, is because of the traumatic way the birth was, because she didn't really register in her mind that she had a baby. She was chased, which I'm not blaming Lester for any of this, or Jamie or anybody. This is just what happened. Charlene had to be chased. She had to be roped. She had to be, what's the word I'm looking for? She had to be held, restrained. There's the word I'm looking for. She had to be restrained, just so they could help her. And she experienced pain. She had a baby, and once the baby was on the ground, she left. She went off because she was scared, in pain, all these things, confused. And then by the time she calmed down and came down from all of that, she didn't really register that she had a baby. She experienced pain, fear, and all that. So, and when Caroline walked up to her, Caroline didn't register as her baby. It was just a baby at that point, if that makes sense. There wasn't that moment of the mom turning around, getting a capsaicin, eating the afterbirth and all of that, to where they sort of created that bond and that connection and that whole system. So it wasn't, Caroline wasn't her baby at that point. It was just a baby longhorn in the pasture that showed up to her, in her mind. So, if that makes sense. At least that's my perception of it. I can't speak longhorn or speak animal or tell you what they're thinking. I can just give you my interpretation. Oh, thanks for the heart, Lester. I didn't know if you were still on or not, or if you just came back or anything. I don't know. I think Danny and Ruby are pregnant. At least Danny is. Because Jolly was showing a lot of interest in Danny, and Danny was showing a lot of interest in Jolly up front, so. Thanks, Lester. I didn't know you were still listening, but. Thank you. Having a fun time chatting. Damn, my nose. Sky, was that a dig at me talking, or were you just going at Lester? Because I talk a mile a minute. I don't shut up. Ah, my nose. Drive me nuts. Yep. Oh, okay. I hope Danny is too. I don't think she should have problems, just because now she's, even though she had issues and it was awful, she was able to pass the calf. The calf didn't have to be like. She was able to pass the calf, even though it was traumatically. She was able to pass it. It didn't get stuck. It didn't get like, well, it did, but the vet didn't have to do invasive, even more damaging things just to get the calf out, if that makes sense. Like, yeah. Danny, I can't remember when that video was that Lester put out where Jolly and Danny were very interested in one another, so I don't know the timeline with that, but I would guess that was after Jolly had been there a while, so probably I would say late September or mid-September at the earliest, and then maybe early October at the latest, or mid-October. Like, I don't know the dates. I'll need to look at the dates for that one. Nancy, they were bred by the bulls in from November to about late January, early February. So, and cows have about a 9-month gestation. For example, Marilyn was bred by Waylon on November 23rd of 2023, and Norma Jean was born September 1st, 2024, just for a timeline of cow birth. So, September 1st of 24 was when Norma Jean was born, and then Lord Grayson was born on September 7th, 24, and then Serenity was born on the 19th of September, and Amber Rose was born right around the 25th of September. Yeah. Nancy, I do too. I hope we get a bunch of heifers. I always hope for heifers over bulls. Although I think Pearl will have a bull. It's just what I'm going to predict. But I said that last time, and we have Clementine now, so I don't know. Because Pearl has had four heifers. She's had four heifers with 3 different bulls. Because she Jolene with Herbie Hancock at band camp. She had Ruby with Tex after being accidentally inbred and all that, with all that story. And then she had Amber and Clementine a year apart from Waylon. And I can't wait to see Jolene and Jolly's baby. Hope for a heifer out of that one, too. Because Jolene hasn't had a heifer yet. She's had 2 bulls. Karen, yeah. I will admit, I don't cry very often. I'm not a crier. When I get sad, I usually just end up getting mad. That's just how I get sad. I get mad. But yeah. I also can't wait to see Jolly's baby with Gracie as well. Yeah, that. Yeah. Clement. Oh, hey, Molly. Hope you're doing well, my friend. So did anyone ever notice that Clementine kind of understood the assignment with her color? She's the color of an orange. She just kind of needs a green leaf on the top of her head, and she's basically an orange fruit cow. I know, that's funny. But Clementine, I don't know exactly what's going on with her colors. It's not a common color with Longhorns, so I haven't seen it very much, at least from what I've seen in my Google researching. But with her she has a black nose, so I know she has some of that Parker Brown, because both of her parents are Parker Brown genetically, Pearl and Waylon. Pearl is Parker Brown underneath all the white, and then Waylon's Parker Brown. So I'm not quite sure exactly what her genetic makeup is beyond that, but she's pretty. She's a really pretty. She looks like a Jersey cow. To be honest, she looks like a Jersey cow. She looks a lot like a dairy Jersey cow. Eat my nose. Yeah. I don't know if people are here who watched Chuck's old home, because I remember looking back at his old home, Steinmetz Family Farm. Okay, I couldn't remember the name for a second, but when he was a baby, he looked a lot like what Caroline does right now. So that kind of color, and of course, yeah, she looks like a Jersey cross to me. Clementine does. And yes, I'm still on vacation in Tennessee right now. Go back home on the 9th. So this upcoming Tuesday, I think it is. I know, it's driving me nuts. I've got like a mosquito bite right on the tip of my nose. It's driving me nuts. Yep. Yep. I'm having fun. This live has been going for over an hour, but it doesn't feel like that long. I'm just having fun talking. Heard a buzz go over my head. I was making sure B didn't go on. I have seen 7 bears today. Went up to the Smoky Mountains today, and saw 8 bears. One by itself, and then one mom with 3 cubs, and one mom with 2 cubs. I don't know where the bite came from. All I know is that I got it, and it's annoying. No, we aren't camping. We're staying at a resort. I'm just sitting at a little deck picnic area outside the resort. You're currently like leaned up against my water bottle on this table because there's nothing. I didn't bring my giant tripod or anything like that on this trip because I didn't have a reason to. So this is what you're leaned up against. Let me move this out of the way. Yeah, you're just leaned up against my Bucky's water bottle at the moment. Yeah. I'll try to deal with it later. I'm not gonna try to deal with my mosquito bite on alive, so you may just have to deal with me itching my nose every 5 seconds. It's not very professional, but it's annoying. Yeah, I've enjoyed talking about different things, so I'm good to keep talking if you guys are. I mean, if you guys have places to be go be those places. If you've got places to be, things to do. Not everyone here is on vacation. People have stuff to do. I don't know if we have rubbing alcohol here. Might have hand sanitizer, but not rubbing alcohol. We've been up in this area a couple times, but we've never been to up near the Smoky Mountains like we were today. Yeah, Linda, someone else mentioned toothpaste earlier. I don't know if it was you. I can't remember. I don't remember names hardly at all, but... Hello, Isaac. You could come out here and sit with me if you want. You're sitting in the room right over there. I see you waving at me from the damn window. Really? You could just come out here, you know. Ah, oh, Isaac. My brother's something else. Me and my brother tease each other quite a bit. Yeah, because your nose was in your phone all day. You didn't pay attention to anything else. Oh. It's kind of ironic that these caps are really good at scratching itches. Like, I use them for itches all the time if I'm drinking a soda. If I've got an itch, I'll just, like, scratch my arm or wherever the itch is with the bottle cap. It works pretty well. Most of the time. Am I the only one who does that? Oh, I just dropped the cap. Come here. I mean, I'm the only one drinking it. Keep hearing twigs snap over there. Probably people working on the landscaping and whatever. Alright. Yep. Well, if you guys have any other questions about longhorns or otherwise, I'd be happy to talk about it. Thanks, Molly. Thanks, Miss Molly. I always call the old moderators Miss before their names. I don't know why. I just like doing it. Just show a sign of extra respect toward our mods. Former or otherwise. Miss Vanessa, Miss Keisha. Thanks. Bama Gardner? I don't know. Thank you. I don't know anything about the screwworms and stuff. I'm not as well versed in that kind of thing. Hello, Sweetism from New York City. I followed Lester since mid to late 2019. So, for reference, I was Lex's age when I first started watching Lester. I'm right about there. Yeah. I was in eighth grade, the end of my 8th grade year. or right at no, yeah, end of 8th grade year. Slash, yeah, it was right around my 8th grade year that I started watching Lester. Yeah, so yep, I was in my last year of middle school. Now I'm 2 years out of high school. Thanks, Nancy. It's quite fun keeping track of who's who and what's what. The thing I'm worst at is remembering dates and who was born when and where if I don't write it down. That's why I have a list of stuff of um, the Longhorns. The relations I remember just fine. So, because yeah. And, okay. Yeah, I've seen a few different like posts on Google and whatnot about um, screwworm and stuff and all that's going on. I've seen a couple posts about that. I haven't read much into it, but yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'd love to, Nancy. I'd love to raise animals and breed animals and follow genetics and do all of those things for myself. Like I'd love to do that. That's a dream of mine to do. Don't know if it'll come true or not, but you can always hope. You can always hope with things like that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have the funds or physical experience to run a farm as of yet, but who knows? Maybe one day. Yeah, who knows? Um, yeah. All right. Yeah, I know it's killing cows. That's what I've seen. I've seen some articles about it, but you want to see Switzerland? I've never been outside of the U.S. Mm, yeah. Wouldn't that be something? Winning the lottery. The only times I've ever played the lottery, I've never won much. Chrissy, yeah, I bet you are. I heard, I saw that you have a Longhorn and some Dexters, so yeah, I imagine you're following along with it pretty closely. I don't blame you. It feels like the only smart thing to do, really. Keep your animals safe and whatnot. Is that a helicopter? No, that's a plane going over. One place I want to see is Africa. I want to go on a safari. That's another thing I'd love to do at some point. Yeah, that's another thing I'd love to do, possibly at some point in my life. Go on an African safari. I've always kind of wanted to do that. Yeah, who knows? Or not. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask the chat a question to see who can figure it out. Um, and the only one I've talked about this with a couple different people. Most recently at Miss Molly at lunch, but Who do you guys think that Caroline, Lester, sweet Caroline, looks the most like in her family history? Out of all the other cows, who does she resemble the most? If you've been a long time follower of Lester, you should figure the answer out. Or if you can figure out the answer, who does she resemble the most? I'll make a post about this later today, showing proof once I give the answer. Caroline resemble the most. Let's see how many people can get it. Yeah, man. You're giving some decent answers. Just a reminder, Waylon is her dad, so that does make sense. I see a couple of people saying Waylon. Gracie as well. Mainly just Gracie and Waylon right now is what people are saying. So, let's see. Gracie. You said Huey? Huey is half Beefmaster. Okay, I know. It's hard to tell tone in comments. That was funny though. That was funny saying Huey. That was funny. Alright. Well, I'll go ahead and throw the answer out. That I believe anyway. And once I make a post after I finish this live, I think you'll agree too. No one talks about Huey. Aw, poor Huey. But anyway, the cow who I believe looks the most like Caroline would be Waylon's mother. Waylon's mother, if you don't remember or haven't been around that long on Lester's page, so Waylon came from another farm that had two longhorns, one named Willie and one named Loretta, and those are Waylon's parents. They had those two cows, and that same year they had that horrible drought that they had to deal with in Texas and all those things. So they had no grass and no grass, so that Waylon's mom couldn't really keep herself keep herself nourished and strong and healthy while she had a calf on her hip, and keep him strong and healthy too. Calf being Waylon. But yeah, she couldn't do that, so Lester took Waylon. Yeah, Molly saw a picture yesterday. Not yesterday. What? We didn't meet yesterday. The other day when we met for lunch, I showed her a picture of Loretta, Waylon's mom, Loretta, not Dolly's daughter, Loretta. But, yeah, it's a spitting image. Thursday. Okay, I'm just all over the place. But I will make a post. I don't know if I can show a picture here in my live. I don't think I can. From my phone, anyway. I don't think I can. Oh. Okay. I don't think I can. I'll make a post later. I'll make a post with showing it. I'll show it. But, yeah. Yeah, I remember that too. But, yeah, Waylon's mom, Loretta, and Caroline look so similar. Especially from a side view. But, yeah, they look spitting image. Alright. Well, I've had you for about an hour and a half, so I think I'm gonna get off here, go inside, maybe get something to eat. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I certainly enjoyed having this chat, and maybe I'll do it again sometime and have just general conversation, because I love this. I like the casual, like, back and forth of the talking with people. I like the interaction with everybody. So, just, yeah. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Bye. Have a great day.